So today we'll have three case studies. We'll just look into three case studies. I will be presenting the case studies on the screen. Okay, and I'll be allocating students who will be giving the answers of those case studies, right? So here, my dear students, Kedar Sawant. Yeah, Kedar Sawant and Manjita. Okay, and Yashasvi. Kedar Sawant, you are there? Kedar, please unmute yourself. Manjita, Yashasvi, please unmute yourself, all three of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Kedar, please unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Kedar, Manjita, and Yashasvi, you will be dealing with the first case study. I will just show on the screen the first case study and I will read the case. Okay, and at the end, you will be having questions. You have to answer those questions. Is it clear, all three of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Okay, so we'll just understand how will be the case studies in international human resource management. Okay. You have the first case here. Is it visible, students? Okay, I'll just read the case. Please listen to the case carefully. All the students, listen to the case carefully. Okay, and all the three students who are being allocated, you have to answer the questions for this case study as well as tell the gist of the case study. And others, if they want to answer, you can also answer. Okay, so first case study deals with basically the grievance. Okay, so do you readdress the grievance of employee's wife too? That is the case study here. So Mr. Nicole Thomas, okay, is the CEO of Online Information System Limited. Please understand, students, here. Mr. Nicole Thomas is the CEO of Online Information Systems Limited, which is situated in South Korea. Okay. Mr. Graham, an Australian national. Please understand, Mr. Graham, an Australian national, works for the company as one of the senior manager and lives in South Korea. So this particular company, that is Online Information System Limited, is situated in South Korea, and Mr. Nicole is the CEO of that particular company, right? In that particular company, you have one particular person who is working, Mr. Graham, who is actually from Australia, but he is working as a senior manager and lives in South Korea. Okay. Whereas his two children live in Australia. The two children of Mr. Graham live in Australia. His two children are doing their bachelor's in business management in James Cook University, that is Townsville, Australia. Clear? I hope the first paragraph is understood. All three of you. Kedar, is it understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then, moving on to the next paragraph. Mrs. Grace Moses. Okay. Wife of Mr. Graham Moses. Okay. Wife of Mr. Graham Moses rushed to the chamber of the CEO at 11:30 a.m. So what happened here? Mr. Graham's wife, who is Mrs. Grace, she rushed to the chamber of CEO at 11:30 a.m. on 20th September 2008 and complained to him that the chief HR manager has been paying a deaf ear. Okay, she complained to the CEO that the chief HR manager has been, okay, paying a deaf ear to her complaint since the last 6 months. So since last 6 months, she is complaining about something because for which the chief HR manager is not paying any attention. Okay, saying that company would readdress the grievance of employees but not employees' family members. So here the chief HR manager says that company will surely address the grievance of the employees but not the family of the employees. This is what was the statement of the chief HR manager. And Mrs. Grace had some grievance and she approached the chief HR manager. He said that I am we as a company we address the grievance of the employees of the company, not the family members of the employees. Okay. So Mr. Nicole Thomas, who was the CEO, made her feel comfortable and assured her of the readdressal of the grievance of employees' family members also. So Mr. Nicole Thomas, who was a CEO, he made her comfortably to sit in the office, and he assured her that we'll readdress the grievance of the employee's family also. Okay. Then he asked her to submit her grievance directly to him. Then he said, "You just whatever your grievance is there, you just submit it to me directly." Mrs. Grace Moses, okay, who is a wife of Mr. Graham, immediately thanked him and submitted her grievance with a detailed note. Okay. Mr. Nicole was shocked. Okay. Was shocked after reading the grievance. So Mr. Nicole was actually shocked after reading the grievance, which was lodged by Mrs. Grace. The essence of the grievance is as follows. So this is what the grievance Mrs. Grace had put. So she said that Mr. Graham Moses had not been paying enough attention on family matters, including uncaring the children and wife since March 2008. So Mrs. Graham said that Mr. Graham is not paying too much of attention to the family matters, including uncaring the children. So he is not caring for the children as well as the wife since March 2008. So Mr. Moses informed his wife that company can't pay education allowance to their children as they are studying in Australia. So this is what Mr. Graham said to his wife, saying that company will not pay education allowance to the children as they are studying in Australia and now not in South Korea, based on the company HR policies. Owing to the same reason, chief HR manager also turned down her grievance under the plea that employee's wife's grievance can't be handled. This is what the chief HR manager said. So, in fact, the cost of educational allowance of her two children would be less than that would cost in South Korea. So, he said that, in fact, the cost of education, whatever is there in Australia, okay, if they bring the children to South Korea and make them to educate here itself, the cost will be less. Okay. So here, Mr. Nicole has given assurance to Mrs. Grace that her grievance will be readdressed fairly. So this is what Mr. Nicole said to Mrs. Grace. On detailed inquiry, Mr. Nicole found that information provided in grievance statement of Mrs. Grace was more or less correct. Okay. The Online Information Systems Limited is a non-union or union-free company employing over 1,500 employees. So Mr. Nicole called a meeting of employees of HR department and the senior managers on 30th September 2008 to decide on the policy issue of the educational allowance as well as readdressing the grievance of the employees' family members. Okay, so this is the case. I hope the case is understood. Okay, so first question. Okay, Manjita, I would like you to answer it. Should the company readdress the grievances lodged by family members of the employees in view of paradigm shift in international HR practices? Manjita,
Yes, ma'am.
I hope the case is understood by you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you answer this particular question? Should the company readdress the grievance lodged by family members of employees in view of paradigm shift in international HR practices? Yeah. Please, I request you to answer. Anyone, Kedar also you can answer. Yashasvi, if you have the answer, you can give the answer. Yes. Yes, students. Do you think that company should readdress the grievance lodged by family members of the employee?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So
If
that
you
they can pay um, attention to their family members.
Attention to the family members. Okay. Do you
Yes.
think it is beneficial to the company?
If if they give that, then that person will work happily.
Hmm.
He is getting some benefits for his family members also. He
Oh,
he will
oh,
work more efficiently with his skills.
fine. Anyone else who would like to answer for this question?
Ma'am, shall I?
Yeah, please.
With add on to the Manjita's answer, like the company can, conduct a counseling between family members and HR manager, and
Hmm.
regarding that, can bring some, policies or making some policies into it,
Hmm.
and uh, like, it can be said that if the both family members and HR managers conduct a meeting, then it can be easier for them to balance both the work life and a
Hmm.
family life too. And so, yeah.
Okay, great. So you all agree that the family members' grievance also should be addressed by the HR managers.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay. So this is the right answer, the family member, because when it comes to international human resource management, the policies say that you have to look into the employees' life as well as family members of the employees also, because the life of the employee as well as the family members of the employee's life also is being affected. Okay, you are just departing. Sorry, you are putting forth one particular employee from one country to another country. Obviously what happens is family members also will be affected. So you cannot, if you as a company, if you cannot bear the expenses of the family members coming here, at least you have to take care of the allowances whatever is to be given for the family members of the employees, and you have to address the grievance of the employees also. Okay, so that's the right answer. So coming down to next, how do you settle the issue of education allowance? Okay, which is contrary to the exciting policy of the company. How do you settle the issue of education allowance, which is contrary to the existing policy of the company? At present, the existing policy of the company is you are not going to pay any education allowance. Okay. Right now, what decision you will be taking on education allowance? Kedar, can you answer this question? Apart from Kedar, if anyone would like to answer this question, you can. Do you think as HR manager, what can you do for satisfying the company as well as the employee also, as well as the family member of the employee?
Oh, ma'am, with regard to this, the company can, make some changes in their existing policies
Hmm.
with regard to education allowances,
Hmm.
and mm,
What changes it can make? That is what the question is. Right now, the policy is you are not going to pay any education allowance. What changes can you make?
Ma'am, they can pay 50% of the education allowances.
They can pay
They can pay half of the money which is being cost for education allowance of the children, of the
50% of
employee
the
children.
amount. Okay, if 50% of the amount is paid, do you think the family member will accept it? What is justified answer for this? What is the justified answer for this? So probably what happens is if you pay 50% of the amount, okay, today particular employee, probably their family members are in Australia, and the education cost based on that particular cost, you're going to pay 50%. That is what you're going to say. For
Yes, ma'am.
example, in Australia, if the cost of education is 1 lakh rupees per year, so you will pay 50,000 rupees per year. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, if some one more employee, their children and their wife is in America, okay, and the cost of education there is 2 lakhs. Obviously, it is very costly. So, the cost of education is 2 lakhs. So, you will be paying 1 lakh for them. Don't you think this is discrimination? Again, there will be grievances. Again, there will be problems. Yeah, students, do you agree to this?
Yes,
Ma'am, you are right, ma'am.
Okay, then what would be the possible solution for this?
Ma'am,
Hmm.
yeah, ma'am, what they can do is when the employee is working and stays in the same country as the company, they can give them allowance at that time.
Working and the
Staying in the same country as the company is in.
okay, I didn't get you. Can you give an example?
Okay, if the company is in India and the employee is working in India and staying in India, then he can be given working allowances, because if all the employees are in India, then they will have similar fee structure. If the company is in India and the employee is working from America, then the education fees will be more.
Okay, no, see, the case is here. Okay, okay, can you mute? I am hearing my voice itself. Okay, so here, my dear students, the case is the companies in South Korea. You are taking employees from Australia. Okay, so you want people to come from Australia and various other countries work in South Korea. So you are not giving you are not giving permission for the family members to come here. So what the employee is doing, the employee alone will be working in South Korea, and the family members, wherever they are located in whichever country, they will be staying there itself. Okay. So that's the policy which this particular company follows, and many of the companies do follow at the starting stage. They may not allow the family members to come and stay with the employee. Later on, once the performance of the employee is judged, they can go for allowing the family members to coming in and staying, okay, with the employee. Right now, the case particular thing is problem is about education allowance. So company has to pay education allowance, but it is not paying any education allowance. So one particular student suggested that whatever fees is there in that particular country, 50% of that you can pay. But I said that, okay, but one particular person is from Australia right now, another person is from America, so there will be a difference of fees. So again, there will be a differentiation which will be created within the employees itself. Why you're paying 50,000 to us and 1 lakh to them? Okay, there you cannot justify as a HR manager. So what can be done? Okay, so here, Tanvi, what you suggested is okay, you can ask the employee to come here itself and recruit people from for example, in India. So they'll be coming and staying in India, but their family members will not be there. Okay, the company will not allow family members to come and stay in India. Okay, so they have to stay in wherever they are located right now.
So
I
this
hope it's
can be yes, ma'am, got it.
yeah. So right now, what can be the solution for this?
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, we can pay the same allowances as the cost of in the same country, like where the cost of education is in North Korea, ma'am.
Very good. South Korea. Very good. This is the right answer for this. Okay. So in South Korea, exactly what is the education exactly what is the cost of education being provided to the children? Based on that, you can pay 50% of the allowance or 60% or 70% of the allowance, whatever is there. Okay. You can give that allowance to them. So again, employee has to adjust wherever. Probably if the employee's children are in Australia or America, whatever it is, the other part of the amount employee has to adjust. Okay, so this is a possible suggestion for us. So everyone will be getting equal education allowance. Okay, so based on that, my dear students, that is what would be possible solution for this particular answer. Is it clear, students? Any doubts here? Any questions? Any ambiguities?
Ma'am,
No,
but
ma'am.
the employees won't have grievance that they will say in our country the education fees are very high, but you're paying us very little amount. So there won't be any complaints.
There may be certain complaint that see, rather than paying nothing, it is good that you pay something. Right now, the company's policy is you are not paying anything to the employee for the education allowance. Okay, Now later on, company may decide that, okay, fine, whatever is the education expenses in South Korea, that much of amount will be giving, other amount you have to adjust somehow. Okay, so company cannot, sacrifice on all aspects. So company will say that this much will allow, no issues about it, for the happiness of the employee as well as family members of the employee. But later part of it, whatever other expenses are there, you have to take care of that particular expenses. Okay, and that depends on your performance. If you perform well, you will be getting better pay, and you will be also, with better pay, you can also easily handle your family expenses, whatever are there. That is what the company may say. Okay, so here there are two benefits for the company. One is they are solving the grievance of the family members of the employee, as well as for the employee, they are cutting down a little bit of expenses, whatever is there, by paying the education allowance. Apart from that, they are motivating the employee also, that if you perform well, you will be getting a better pay. With that, you can handle the expenses, right? So that is what the two benefits the company will be getting, as well as the employee also will be getting. Is it clear, students? Tanvi, I hope your doubt is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Now let us go to the second case. Okay, let us move on to the second case here. So for this particular case, Deepika, Majlati,
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Vani Poddar,
Yes, ma'am.
okay,
Yes, ma'am.
and Tejasvi Jutale. Tejasvi,
Yes, ma'am.
right. So you three will be answering this particular case. Okay. Okay. So here, this particular case concerns to whom do you satisfy, an expatriate or the nationals of that particular country. Fine. So here, High-Tech Electronics Limited. Okay, High-Tech Electronics Limited was established in the year 2006 in Kuala Lumpur. Okay, Malaysia. So it produces and markets all type of electronic goods. Okay, this particular High-Tech Electronic Limited produces and markets all type of electronic goods in most of the Asian and Pacific countries. Okay, so they produce the electronic goods in most of the Asian and Pacific countries. So it has been one among the top 5 companies. So this particular company has been one among the top 5 companies as for the level of technology, and one among the top 3 companies regarding marketing of the products in Malaysia. Right. So it has been one among the top 5 companies as for the level of technology. So when it comes to level of technology, it is one among the top 5 companies, and one among the top 3 companies when it comes to marketing of the products in Malaysia. Okay. So companies' policies and practices concerning human resource management, right? So companies' policies and practices concerning to human resource management, uh, are top in the country. So companies' salary administration policies, okay, companies' salary administration policies and practices were taken as guidelines not only by the other companies but also by various wage boards and pay commissions in the country. So this was a level of compensation which they were setting, right? Apart from the policies and practices which they had. But this company has been struggling a lot because of minor problem relating to administration of salary and benefits. Okay, so this particular company has a minor problem related to administration and administration of salary and benefits. So this problem is stated here. So everything is top in this particular company, but only problem is administration of salary and benefits. So what is the problem? Let us see here. Company employed nearly 400 national young graduates and postgraduate engineers. So it had 400 national young graduates and postgraduates. That means 400 people from the same country where it is located. Okay. And 20 expatriate engineers, 20 people who are from outside the country. Okay. Expatriate engineers. So these employees form the cream of the company's present human resource. Okay. So expatriate employees occupied higher position in all the departments. So expatriates whoever are there, they were the competent people who are being picked from various countries. Okay. And they were being posted into higher positions in all the departments, including the human resource department. So companies' salary policies and benefit policies were formulated mainly on the basis of expatriate employee desire. So whatever company policies and benefits were there, salary policy and benefits were there, entirely it was designed according to the expatriate employees' desires and satisfaction. Okay, so base salary of the company is the same for both the expatriate and the national employees. Basic salary, whatever was there, it was same for the expatriates and the national employees, but expatriates received additional allowance. Okay, expatriates who were there, they received additional allowance like international market allowance, educational allowance, risk allowance, settling in allowance, car allowances, housing allowances, and entertainment allowances. So these were the additional and allowances which are being given to expatriates. Thus, expatriates received nearly 250% more salary than that of nationals doing the same job. Okay. National employees demanded, okay, the national employees were the people from the same country. They demanded the management to pay equally with that of the expatriates immediately. According to them, pay pocket frustrates them severely. I hope this case is understood. Yes, students, this case is understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Now,
ma'am.
question for this is, what is the crucial issue in this particular case? What exactly is the crucial issue in this particular case?
Ma'am, one is like administration of salary and benefits are designed only according to the expatriates,
Hmm.
what they desire.
Hmm. Okay. So there is discrimination which is being done between the nationals and the expatriates.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you justify this? Was it right? Was it right? Paying more for
No,
expatriate?
ma'am.
Why do you
No,
say
ma'am.
no? Why do you say no?
Because they're doing the same job, ma'am,
Hmm.
but the salary is same, but the expatriates getting the allowances, the nationalists are not getting the allowances, ma'am.
Great, great. Okay. So, my dear students, expatriates are being placed as the heads of the department. Expatriates are being placed as the head of the departments. They have come from other countries. They have been recruited on demand from other countries. Okay. And they are the key players in that particular company. They have that competence. They may be doing the same job, but the competence may not be same. Please understand, students, here. Okay. So when the company, if the company has better competent people in the nationals itself, they will not go to recruit expatriates. Okay, it's a loss for the company. When the company is recruiting expatriates and they are giving them better salary, better pay to retain them, that means they are not having enough of competent people in the same nation. Okay, that's the reason they are recruiting from other nations. Please understand the gist of the case, students. Okay, so cause of that thing, they are paying more salary, or they are giving additional benefit to the expatriates. Base salary is same for everyone, but they are giving additional salary to the, or additional benefits to the expatriates, additional allowances to the expatriates in the salary. That is only the difference. So, right after listening to this, do you think whatever the company is doing is right or wrong?
Right, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So here the company is really doing right, but here the company has to justify, right? So company has not justified exactly what is the issue here. That is the crucial issue. The communication of the company to the nationals and the expatriates is not clear. Okay. So they are paying better salary to the expatriates, but why they are paying better salary to the expatriates, that is not clear to the employees. That is the basic issue here, and that's the reason employees revolted back. Okay. So moving on to the next. Okay. So if this particular question is asked, my dear students, this is how you have to explain. You have to understand the case first. Okay. Why they had to go in for recruiting expatriates and paying so much of higher salary to them? Because they are not finding better competent a person in the nationals. Okay. That's the reason they went for recruiting expatriates and paying better salary to them, so that they can retain them in the organization. And why they have to place the expatriates in a higher position, or as the heads of all the departments? because they feel that these are the people who can competently run the industry. But the nationals, they are not finding that competent people in the nationals. Okay, so that is the crucial issue which has happened here. Fine. Second question, my dear students, if you were the HR manager of the company, whom do you satisfy? Now, this is the question I want you all to answer. If you are HR manager of the company, whom do you satisfy? Will you go for satisfying the expatriates, or will you go for satisfying the nationals? Vani, can you answer this?
Ma'am, expatriates.
You will be going for satisfying the expatriates. Okay, fine. So, on that note, if you lose some of your nationals, or if you lose people from your nationals, is it okay for you all?
Ma'am, to both we need to satisfy
Yeah, you need to
because
satisfy
both are
both.
important for the company.
Very good. How will you satisfy both? That is the question here. Please justify. How will you satisfy both the expatriates as well as the nationals?
Ma'am, that the company can give training to the national employees
Hmm.
and they can make them more efficient as like expatriates
Hmm.
and they can increase the salary according to their position.
Okay. So for training, what is to be done, my dear students? Simply you will decide that you will train your employees. Directly you will decide that you will be giving training to the employees, or you will do something before that to understand the need for training.
Before training, we need to check the efficiency of the national employees.
How do you check the efficiency of the national employees?
On the basis of their performance.
Very good. Okay.
Yes.
So here, my dear students, you have to first go for appraising the performance of the expatriates as well as appraising the performance of the national employees. And that appraisal report should be crystal clear to the national employees as well as for the expatriates. The national employees should understand where they are lacking, why they are being paid less. And then based on that justification, you have to motivate your national employees, saying that your performance is much lower than the expatriates, so you have to perform better than the expatriates, then only you will be receiving the salary or allowances which is good as well as equal to the expatriates, or maybe somewhat near to the expatriates. Okay, and if you perform really excellently, you may be getting a better position and better pay than the expatriates. Okay, so that is how you will be motivating the national employees. Apart from that, expatriates are already satisfied because they are getting better pay, better benefits, better allowances. Okay, so you need not go and satisfy the expatriates, they are already satisfied. So here the need for satisfying the national employees is more than the expatriates. Okay, so here basically this is how you can solve this particular case. I hope it's clear to you all, students. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So when it comes to international human resource management, students, whenever certain cases are being given, obviously you may get some straightforward cases in your examination which will be easy to answer. So if you get such type of case studies, you have to understand exactly, you have to go in depth. You have to do an in-depth research of what was the problem in this particular case, why the company was paying more to the expatriates and less to the nationals. Okay, whereas the cost of the company also will be high when they are paying so much to the expatriates. Okay, so why this is being done? Okay, what is the better solution for this? Fine. So that these all things should be noted, and then you have to answer the case. I hope it's clear to you all, right? So coming down to the third and last case study for the day, right? So here, Padmaja, you're there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Padmaja, Shushmita,
Yes, ma'am.
and Sarika. Sarika, you're there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let us move on to the third case study, my dear students. Okay, this particular case study deals with failed expatriate. Okay, it deals with failed expatriate. Okay, so here you are getting the title, my dear students, but in examination you may not get the title. You have to analyze the case. Okay, so Mr. Amar Ali Khan, I'll just go in for reading the case. Okay, Mr. Amar Ali Khan, a Malaysian national. Okay, he was a Malaysian national and an MBA from International Islamic University, Malaysia. Amar Ali Khan was a Malaysian national. He was actually from Malaysia, born and brought up in Malaysia, and an MBA graduate from International Islamic University, Malaysia, and was unable to fulfill the long-awaited desire of his wife of working and living in foreign country. Okay, so he was not able to fulfill that desire of his wife of working in foreign country, living and working in a foreign country. Finally, he got a situation. Finally, situation has set in as Ghana Telecom Accra. Okay, Ghana Telecom Accra. Ghana selected Mr. Amar Ali Khan as its marketing manager. Finally, he got an opportunity in Ghana Telecom. Okay, in Accra, Ghana. That is a place there in Ghana. Right. So here Ghana selected Mr. Amar Ali Khan as its marketing manager on a contract basis. Okay, Ghana, they selected Amar Ali Khan as its marketing manager on the contract basis for 3-year project. So the project was for 3 years. So Mrs. Khan was excited and planned for the departure of the entire family, including 2 children, her old parents. Okay, so she was very much excited, and she went in for planning the departure of the entire family, including 2 children and her parents. In fact, Mr. Amar tried to convince his wife that he does not know anything of Ghana. Okay, so here what happened is after Mr. Amar tried to convince his wife that he does not know anything of Ghana. Okay. In addition, he informed his wife that the culture, climate, living cost, social security, and political situations of Ghana are quite different from that of Malaysia. Okay. He clearly told to his wife that the living cost, the social security, political situations are entirely different from Malaysia and Ghana, and he has no clear idea of all the aspects of Ghana. But Mrs. Amar did not listen to him, and ultimately she herself decided the date for their travel. Okay, so this is what happened with Mr. Amar Ali Khan. Ghana Telecom could not arrange for their work permit, okay, visa and air tickets before the date fixed by Mrs. Khan. Then Mrs. Khan asked her husband to arrange for visitors visa for all of them. So here in Ghana Telecom, they were not able to arrange for work permit, visa, and air tickets for Mr. Khan and his family, which as the date fixed by Mrs. Khan. Then Mrs. Khan asked her husband to arrange a visit visa, okay, visitors visa for all of them, fine, and buy the tickets for their savings, as Ghana Telecom anyhow reimburses the cost of travel. Okay, so that is what Mrs. Khan said. She said that you arrange for visitors visa for all entire family members as well as him, and buy the tickets from their savings. Okay, whatever they had saved, you just buy the ticket. As afterwards, Ghana Telecom, obviously they'll reimburse the traveling cost and all those things. Mr. Khan could not displease his wife, and ultimately they landed in Accra as planned by Mrs. Khan. So this is what happened by them. Then housing and schooling facilities in Accra are quite inferior to the expectations of Mr. and Mrs. Khan. Obviously, Ghana, South African countries are poor countries, so there is no much of education facility and all those things. Obviously, there are British schools, but probably that facility may not be there, and that advancement in education may not be there. Okay, as in Malaysia. So housing facilities and schooling facilities in Accra are quite inferior to the expectations of Mr. and Mrs. Khan. However, she initially did not complain, okay, because she was very happy going there. Initially, she did not complain, and everything was done as per her wishes. But the 2 children started complaining of the facilities in the school every day. The 2 children who were there, they started complaining about the facilities in the school every day. Sooner or later, her mother fell sick. Okay, the mother of Mr. Khan fell sick, and Mr. Khan had to spend 50% of his savings for her medical expenses, as Ghana Telecom pay package does not include medical allowances for that other than employees. So they include only pay package for the medical allowance of the employee, not for the family members of the employee. Okay. Sooner or later, Mrs. Khan, father-in-law, also fell sick, and Mr. Khan started experiencing financial crisis. So this is what happened with Mr. Khan. Then afterwards, Mrs. Khan's honeymoon stage was over within 3 months. Okay, probably whenever you have a visitor's visa, it is only for the 3 months. Okay, so this particular honeymoon stage was over within 3 months, and her desire of living in a foreign country was also fulfilled. Okay, sooner she developed a negative picture of Ghana and started feeling that they could not live properly as food stuff they desire is not available in Ghana, as well as the entertainment facilities are not according to their taste. Okay, she started murmuring and pressurizing Mr. Khan that we should go back to Malaysia as the homeland is far better than any other country, including Ghana. All the family members could muster the strength and support from Mrs. Khan. Thus, all the members pressurized Mr. Khan that we should leave Ghana within 15 days. Mr. Khan could not do anything except tendering his resignation, and Ghana Telecom did not pay for their return fare as he did not honor the contract of working for 3 years. Okay, so Ghana Telecom, they did not pay for their return as he was not honoring the contract of working for 3 years. His superiors expressed his unhappiness over the resignation. So superiors said that we are unhappy that you are resigning. Okay, as the Ghana Telecom has to restart the selection process for the job of marketing manager. So whatever they have spent on recruitment of this particular person, it was a loss for the company. So they were very unhappy for his resignation, and they said that they have to again spend on selection process for the job of marketing manager. Mr. Khan requested his friend in Malaysia to send money for their return ticket fares as his savings were just dismal. Okay, finally the whole family landed in Malaysia. So this is basically the situations happens some with expatriates, probably if their family members are not able to adjust. Okay, so this is a case exactly. So questions for the case is, discuss the major reason for failure of Mr. Khan. What is the major reason for failure of Mr. Khan? Can anyone answer this? Major reason for failure of Mr. Khan.
Ma'am, the major reason was he couldn't convince his wife to stay and work on what he is passionate about, and working for Ghana because his family could not adjust in the environment.
Okay, fine. So here major reason basically it was not the company, it was the employee. This is what you are saying, that he is not able to
Yes.
convince his wife.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any other good answers? Yes, anyone would like to answer for this? What is the major reason for the failure of Mr. Khan? Any other answers? Is it only Mr. Khan who was responsible for this?
No, ma'am. Even his wife.
Okay. So here major reasons, please understand the question, my dear students here. Discuss the major reasons for the failure of Mr. Khan. When they say reasons, there may be n number of other reasons also. One reason is he was not in a position to convince his wife. Okay. What is the second reason? Was there any fault from the company end?
Yes, ma'am. Maybe the poor candidate selection, like fishing for the like.
Yes. Any fault from the company's end? Okay, let me tell you the answer here. First reason for failure of Mr. Khan was not able to convince his wife. Okay, because it was entirely a new environment. So Mr. Khan would have convinced his wife that it is a new environment. First, I'll go and adjust, and then within 2 or 3 months, I will call everyone to this particular. Once I settle down, I'll just bring you all to this particular country here with me. Okay, that was one of the reason why he failed. Second reason was basically the company. Okay, when the employee as well as the family members of the company are coming in, it is the responsibility of the company to take care of their housing and schooling facilities. Okay, so they had given inferior housing and schooling facilities to the children of that particular employee, which was entirely wrong. Okay, so that was the main reason why dissatisfaction started. Okay, and then slowly the company has to take care of the health of the employee as well as family members of the employee also. Okay, so whenever an employee is traveling from one country to another country, there are certain health checkups which will be done. There are certain injections which will be given. For example, if you're going to Ghana and all those countries, there is some injection for yellow fever which is being given. So that was not being taken care of by the company. Okay, another reason, basically I cannot blame the company also. So here the company had said that we'll just arrange for the tickets, visa and all those things, but it was the urgency of Mrs. Khan which made him land up in Ghana without any proper checkups and all those things, right? So that started with the problem. So these were the various issues because of which Mr. Khan failed. Okay, then next question: to what extent Mrs. Khan is responsible for the failure of Mr. Khan? To what extent Mrs. Khan is responsible for the failure of Mr. Khan? Was she the major reason of failure? Yes, students, was she the major reason of failure? Sarika, was she the major reason of failure?
Ma'am, partially she was a
Huh?
reason for his failure.
Okay. Yes, partially she was the reason for his failure. Okay, fine. So here, how you can answer this particular question, my dear students? You can say that yes, partially she was the reason for his failure because of what all she had done. Okay, first forcing him to go to Ghana in spite of the company telling that we'll be arranging the tickets later. Okay, and then she forced Mr. Khan to just go to the country before the company approaches and before the company tells to come. Okay, by spending her own expenses or his own expenses, whatever are there, so savings whatever are there, they spent it and they went. That was really a wrong. First failure part, which was being done by Mrs. Khan was taking a visitor's visa and going there in spite of company giving the work permit and all those things. Okay, so here the urgency which was being done by Mrs. Khan was really very wrong. Okay, apart from that, she tried to satisfy herself, but she didn't see the situation of her husband as well as family members and all those things. That was entirely wrong. So basically, if you see all this aspect, she was the major reason for failure of Mr. Khan. Okay, apart from that, to what extent Ghana Telecom is responsible for failure of Mr. Khan? To what extent Ghana Telecom is responsible for failure of Mr. Khan? Are they reason for failure of Mr. Khan? Now here you can give the answer partially. Major reason of failure of Mr. Khan was Mrs. Khan. But here Ghana Telecom was not very much the reason for failure of Mr. Khan. Only problem which happened is they didn't give better housing facility, better schooling facility to the family members. Okay, to the wife as well as to the family members as well as for the kids. Okay, apart from that, the facilities which they gave was very less. Medical facility they gave only to the employee, but not for the family of the employee, which was very wrong. They had to extend the family medical facilities to the family members of the employee also. Okay, so here, because of which Mr. Khan had to spend his savings also on the treatment of his father and his mother. Okay, so that was the wrong thing which was being done by Ghana Telecom. So this is the partial reason because of which Mr. Khan failed. Okay, then afterwards, what strategies do you suggest for the prevention of such expatriate failure? Any strategies you have for the prevention of such expatriate failure, my dear students? One more thing in the case which you people have not noticed, my dear students, here before Mr. Khan coming down to Ghana, the company did not provide any sort of training to him. Training about the culture, training about the language, okay, did not give any information about the accommodation, any information about the schooling, okay, all these things were not given to him. Directly they recruited and directly they asked him to come here, and because of urgency of Mrs. Khan, he had to go take the visitors pass and then go down to that particular country, which was very wrong. Okay, what strategies do you suggest for prevention of such expatriate failure? Any suggestions, students? What strategies the company can form? Yeah, Tanvi, any suggestions?
Ma'am, they could have given him proper training and facilities for housing.
Okay, fine. So you say that you have to give proper training before the employee arrives to the country or immediately after the company employee arrives to the country, and then give proper housing and educational facilities to the employee. Fine, great. Then any other answer, students?
Ma'am, as you said that he would have come before and got settled for a few days, and then brought his family to the place where he had shifted.
Very good. So here the company can have the strategy of employee first coming, settling down himself, then afterwards, based on the performance of the employee, if the employee is really performing very good, then you can ask for the family members of the employees to come down and settle in that particular country without knowing anything. Directly they went in for forming a contract of 3 years, okay, without understanding whether he'll be able to survive, his family will be able to survive in that particular country, without understanding whether he can perform well, whether he can be an asset to the organization. Without understanding anything, the company went in for recruiting and putting him under a contract of 3 years. Okay, whereas again, if the expatriate failed, when it comes to there are two things here, my dear students, for this last question. Okay, in terms of a company and in terms of employee, when it comes to in terms of company, you are spending so much on recruiting, okay, selecting, and then flight tickets, work permit, and all those things, and then putting for the employee in work area and all those things. So if suddenly there is an expatriate failure, it's a big loss for you. Again, you have to spend on all those things. Okay, so instead of that, first you have to check the performance of the employee, and then sign a contract of so many years with that particular person if you find that performance of that particular employee satisfactory. Once you sign the contract, after maybe working for 3 months or 4 months or maybe 6 months, you find really that employee is very good, then you can go under a contract with that particular employee, and then you can ask for the family members to come down and settle down here. So these are various things which can be done by the company, okay, which where the Ghana Telecom failed. Okay, they did not go for any training, they did not go for any performance check. Directly they went in for recruiting that particular candidate and asking their family members also to come down. Okay, so that was the big failure of Ghana Telecom. This is the strategy which they can adopt for further, that there should not be any loss for the company. When it comes to the employee, my dear students, company can have a strategy of you know giving expatriate allowances to the employee, okay, like housing allowance, education allowances, traveling allowances, medical allowances. These are the various allowances which has to be given to the employee, right? So Mr. Khan did a mistake here by not understanding the compensation package here. Because of his pressure of his wife, he just went down and settled there, okay, and he lost all his savings, whatever he had, and again he had to ask this money from his friend who was in Malaysia, which was very wrong, okay. So here the employee also has to take care of whatever compensation they are paying, understand the package and all those things, and then agree to the job. Okay, by after going there, he has to see to it that he settles down, understands everything, and then he has to bring his family. Okay, these are various things which can be done. Okay, so this is the answers for this. I hope things are very clear for you all students.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so these are the various problems which comes when it comes to international human resource management. So HR, part of HR becomes very crucial here. Okay, HR has to play a very crucial role in maintaining and retaining the employee as well as family members of the employee. Most of the expatriates fail because of the family members itself. Okay, if the family members are not cooperative, okay, if there is any issue in the family members, obviously the expatriates will not perform, and they'll come back to their own country, wherein the cost, whatever the company has spent on the expatriate, becomes entirely a big loss for them. So company has to take care of everything, understand the things, and then go in for forming the recruiting the expatriates. Okay, so that much this I hope the case studies are very clear to you all. Probably we'll just go with the next module in the next class. We'll start with the sixth module, and then after that we'll go with the question papers, case studies, whatever are there, as well as the questions in the question papers. Okay, so till that, if you have any doubts, my dear students, you can next class, before the start of the class, you can ask me any questions, whatever you have. Okay, and then I'll be trying to answer the questions. I'm making the notes. Okay, so once the notes are being done, I will be sending it. It may take 2-3 days. I'll just send all the module notes to you all. Okay, thank you very much, students.
Thank you, ma'am.